guys. So, still waking up. My eyes are all puffy and shit. I meant to make this video yesterday. Had every intention of it. Got sidetracked watching Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, and I was gonna make it after that, and then I got caught up watching Mom, and then watching whatever show comes after that, and then I freaking went to bed because I sleep like an old person. So, that's a thing. So here I am now, making this video. So it's a day late for Throwback Thursday, but I guess Flashback Friday still works too. Now, when I've done these nostalgia videos about computer games and websites and things before, even if it was something you guys had never personally played, they were generally things you'd at least heard of, if nothing else. But the one I'm gonna talk about today is so freaking niche and just out there. Odds are you probably haven't, and you're probably gonna go, what the hell are you talking about? Unless you were manually trying to seek out like gameplay for this video, and that's how you found this video, in which case maybe you know what I'm talking about, but otherwise you've probably never heard of it. So in the early 2000s, back in the days where I was still on freaking dial-up, there was this website that I kept seeing get mentioned, but I didn't really know what it was. And I think I first saw it mentioned in, I'm not sure which tech magazine it was. My dad was subscribed to like all of them. Something along the lines of Wired or something, but saw it mentioned in there, didn't think too much of it. But this game called Sissyfight 2000, which, yes, that name is ridiculous, but just hang with me. And I don't think I even necessarily read the blurb about it at that point. I saw it pop up in a couple other of his magazines, still didn't think too much of it. Until it popped up in one of my freaking I thought I was cool as shit teenager magazines, and then I was like, wait, okay, I keep seeing this pop up. Let's read about it. And the little blurb basically said that this game is essentially like, if you ever wanted to be the schoolyard bully instead of being bullied, this game is for you. And, oh, little Miss Perpetually Bullied over here was like, I could be a bully. I could be a bully. Trust me. I have plenty of knowledge about this topic, being on the receiving end of it for so many years. Let's read on. And basically, just how they described this game, even though it sounded sadistic and twisted, even though it's so wrong, as somebody who'd been bullied, to be drawn to something like that, not gonna lie, something about it sounded cathartic, so I was like, alright, we're going to the computer right now. We are looking this up. But the selling point to me was that it was free. Most of these websites and games, no, I shouldn't say websites. Most of the games that got advertised in there usually weren't free, but this one was, so I was like, it sounds therapeutic and it's free? Let's see. So I went on, and it was all animated in this really old school, not quite 8-bit, but almost 8-bit looking format-wise, which got my attention as an 80s baby, and was just like, what is this? So I'm poking around, and I'm getting sucked in by the aesthetic of the graphics. I'm just like, screw it, I'm gonna make an account. So I did, and you can make your little schoolyard girl, and all of them were hideous, but I mean, that was kind of part of it. I mean, if you're gonna be a bully, you're kind of an ugly person as a person, so it would make sense that the characters in this game, no matter what you did with the attributes, they're going to be ugly characters. Fine. So I have my ugly little character. Hold on, I have to sip my coffee. And then there were 3 different schoolyards you could pick from to play in. And by schoolyards, I assume they were different servers, but they gave them themes anyway to make them feel different. There was like the cutesy little angelic one. There was the hellspawn one that was all scary and badass. And there was a third one that I don't really remember what the theme was on that. Maybe it was just normal, but naturally everybody wanted to be in the badass one, so that one was always filled, so that's usually where I played. But the bizarre thing is, to this day, my brain still can hear the theme song of each of the 3 schools. It's just like, what the hell? How is that burned in so well? I didn't play that much of this game. But generally, it would only allow so many players on each server at a time. So I think it was like up to 200 players per server at a time, which by today's standards, that is dinky. That is freaking nothing. That would never hold up by today's standards, but early 2000s, especially on dial-up of all things, yeah, it worked out okay somehow. But if you tried to play during the day, good freaking luck. So usually I'd wait till about 2 in the morning to hop on there and see if there was room enough to play, but still enough people on to be played with. So, okay, you're in one of the 3 schools at this point. What now? What was the gameplay of this sadistic little game? Well, it would have the animation of, like, the courtyard behind you where the kids would be on recess or whatever. This is where all the shit's gonna go down. And there'd be 6 characters to a match, I believe, if I remember right. Pretty sure it was 6. Each girl had their own color, and like their chat bubbles would be in that color and stuff, and their uniform was in that color. Blah blah blah. No one cares. But the game mechanics were what was interesting. It was almost like kind of like a fucked up version of Rochambeau, or rock paper scissors, essentially, with a few more options in there. But all of them were much like that in terms of no matter what you picked, there'd be some kind of repercussion either for you or for someone else, depending on what you picked. There were 2 options where you only had a limited number of them per game, because one of those 2 was Lick Your Lollipop, which, as long as nobody messed with you, you would regain some health, some hit points, because you went into the game with 10 hit points, which again, not very much, but for this game it worked out fine. You'd regain some hit points by licking your lollipop, but, if somebody grabbed you, or if somebody scratched you while you were licking your lollipop, they'd choke you and you would lose HP, like twice as much as if you were just scratched. Yeah, it was kinda fucked up. And the other thing that the lollipop was for was if somebody tattled, you would be an innocent bystander just licking your lollipop. Nothing to see here. So you're not in trouble. So that was the point of the lollipop. The other one that there was only limited numbers of for the turns was tattle. You could only tattle twice in the game, and the caveat was if 2 or more people tattle on the same turn, they tattle on each other. So you better use it wisely and hope like hell no one else uses a tattle on that turn. But if you're the only tattler, anyone who is grabbing or scratching during that turn is going to lose hit points because they just got in trouble. Now, you could grab, which on its own I don't think did anything, but if you grabbed and someone else scratched that same player, yeah, you did some damage. You could scratch, which on its own does some points, but again, same time, if they were grabbed at the same time, or if multiple people scratched at the same time on the same character, did more damage. You could cower, which, if just one person was trying to scratch or grab at you, you could cower away and be okay. But if you cowered while somebody teases you, then you lose hit points. What else was there with tease? I think tease was another one of the ones you could get tattled on for. But it made for an interesting kind of a game mechanic, because no matter what you did, there was some danger of something bad happening with it, but there was also a chance that it could go well. Now, with that in mind, you would think this would be over like that, but no, because people would have to strategize. But to do that, there's no private messaging on here. It has to be visible in the chat. Otherwise, you could be reported for cheating if you try to use an instant messenger outside the game, which didn't really stop people, but I mean, if they were on too much of a winning streak, it would be real obvious if all their attacks were coordinated. But, hold on. But, if it was in the chat, people try to get sneaky about it, and they would come up with their own codes and shit, like in between games with each other, to try to strategize that way. And a lot of times you could see through whatever the code was, but sometimes they were real good at it, hiding whatever they were doing. So, yeah, it was just kind of interesting. But even more so were the message boards, which were all thematically themed. Wow, great grammar, Jen. Wake up. Come on, girl. But anyway, they were all themed, like school themes, like the honor roll, the detention hall, the cafeteria, the different subjects and stuff, like shit like that. I mean, it sounds stupid, but it was really, really vibrant on there for a long time. I actually really enjoyed that website for a really long time, until people kind of just stopped playing it over time. And it went under in 2009, and I was very sad and missed it. But then, because of high public demand, they got a Kickstarter campaign to bring it back. And they actually met and exceeded that goal. So they brought it back in 2014, but it really never saw the same kind of popularity again. There was about a 2-day span where there was a shit ton of people all playing on the servers at the same time, and now there was like mods and crap, and they'd added stuff to it this time around, which I feel like kind of took away from the original experience, but whatever. But they were perks for being a Kickstarter, so whatever. But after those initial couple of days, like, nobody ever touched it again. It was like, you guys needed $50,000 or whatever it was to get this site back up and running again. And people only used it for like 2 days. Slow clap. The site is still there, there's just freaking nobody on it. It makes me really sad. Every once in a while I remember it, and then I like go check, and there's inevitably nobody on, because nobody's playing it and nobody knows of it anymore, so it's a perpetual cycle of nobody playing it. And there's a Facebook group for it, dead as a doornail, so it's like, damn. I was really hoping when it came back it would take back off and maybe be better this time, because they could have better servers or whatever, but just no one knows what it is, so it kind of was dead in the water almost from day one. It sucks, because even as sadistic as it sounds, it was a fun game. As messed up as that is, it was a fun game. But with nobody to play it with, you can't play it single player. It's only when you have enough players to play the game. And it just goes on till last man standing, who still has some HP. So sometimes it barrels through hella quickly. Sometimes this would drag on for like 2 hours for one match. So depending. But maybe not 2 hours. That's probably an exaggeration. But it felt like 2 hours. But oh god. I miss it though, and wish more people played it so it would have some kind of a vibrant community there, but I don't see it really ever taking off again. If it was going to, it would have done it in 2014 when it popped back up, but since it didn't, I think it's kind of a losing battle at this point. And it sucks that in its first go-round, when it was online, before it closed down, it was before gaming videos on YouTube were really a thing, so nobody captured original gameplay of it from back in the day. There's only like 3 Sissyfight videos that I know of on YouTube, and they're all from when it came back through like the Kickstarter and everything. So it's not even quite the same. It lost something. It's like, oh, well, that's disappointing as hell, isn't it? What can you do, right? So, anyways, does this video have a point? Hell no, other than I felt nostalgic over a website that I'd kind of forgotten about and randomly was reminded of yesterday and was like, I should make a video about that, see if any of my 3,000 subscribers remember this site. I highly doubt a single one of you does, but I would be very surprised if any of you were also players on that site back in the day. So let me know. Anyways, that is it for me for this one. I really need to wake up more because I look like hell warmed over. But anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Were you a player in this game? Don't lie about it if you weren't. But I mean, if by some rare chance you were, let me know because I want to know, am I like the only person who still remembers it in its original form who's on YouTube? I kind of feel like I am. I can't possibly be, but I feel like I am. Let me know down below as well as anything else you feel like leaving me. Make sure you follow my social media accounts. They're all listed down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is in the description. So anyway, guys, till next time.